Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another brand new episode. Today's features singer-songwriter Vannah Leigh. Had a great time getting to meet her and learn a little bit more of her story. She's a young, talented singer-songwriter coming up in the St. Louis area, and she's getting ready to release her debut EP on August 5th. I'll give you a little preview, a little acoustic sneak peek of what we did. We did some live songs to hold you over until we get the EP ready, but get involved with Vannah Leigh and keep an eye out on more upcoming shows and go see her live. I have also our friends Matt Rudolf and Steve Bauer sitting in on this one as they've been working with her, accompanying her on her gigs, and had a lot of fun with this one and hope you enjoy it. I do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs. Over 25 rotating taps out there, all kinds of tasty beverages and delicious eats. You got burgers and nachos and flatbread pizzas and salads and things like that. And then they do great weekly specials like Taco Tuesday. You got your fried chicken sandwich on Wednesday. And then on Thursdays, they kick off their weekend. They got a Singo Bingo night up there on Thursday nights. And then Friday, August 4th, you can catch Mickey Scott at Friendship Brewing Company, 6 to 9. You can, on Saturday, August 5th, catch Steve Kyle, 7 to 10. And Lauren Hoffman on Sunday, 1 to 4. And then you've been hearing me talk all about it, but they just had the big grand opening, Friendship Brewing Fly High, the Flint Hill location. And this weekend, they'll have August 4th, Friday night, Cold Blue Steel out there. And my buddies, the Breakdowns, head out there on Saturday, August 5th, 7 o'clock. Again, that's at Friendship Brewing Fly High. And you can find all this information and more at their website, friendshipbrewingcompany.com. Get plugged in with them on Facebook and Instagram for more info. And come out and have a great time at Friendship Brewing Company. If you need anything else from me, feel free to reach out at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with Vannah Leigh.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is Vannah Leigh, and you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
Double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Vannah Leigh. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is super cool. And joining us are a couple old favorites, returning guests, Steve Bauer and Matt Rudolf.
Good to see you, Shane.
Welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is cool, man. I'm always love hanging out with some buddies and catching up, and you guys introduced me to Vannah just a bit ago, and I'm super excited to learn a little bit more about Vannah's story and music, and we've already been having a great time hanging out today. But this is really the gist of why I love this show and why I continue to do the show is to discover and meet new artists coming up in our city and getting to share their story and songs. So thank you for sharing with us today. But I don't know really much about you at all. I know you've been playing with these guys around town a little bit lately, and I've been seeing that online. But as far as where this all started, I guess let's kind of go back to a little bit to the beginning. Like, you St. Louis always been home for you, or?
I'm actually from Illinois. I live in Belleville, which is like 15, 20 minutes from St. Louis. Yeah. I took my first guitar lesson on my 5th birthday, and I just have never stopped.
Yeah.
And I think I played out for the first time. Like, I did an open mic when I was 7 or 8.
Wow.
So, and then ever since then, I didn't stop.
What'd you do? Do you remember what you played that night? Or
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. It probably wasn't very good.
Yeah.
American Honey by Lady Antebellum. Or they're not called that anymore. Lady A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I've played that song every time I've had my own solo gigs. Like, that's the first song I play every time.
That's I don't know. It's pretty remarkable. Like, I can't imagine trying to do anything like that at 7 years old. Like, I mean, I feel like sometimes maybe you're just like fearless enough sometimes as a kid. Like, you don't even like. I don't know. I just feel like some kids have it like where they're like they don't even think about it, but then like later on, maybe then the fears of stage fright comes in and stuff. But
well,
I don't know. Do you have any of that? It's like that didn't.
At first, no. I don't get nervous. I don't get nervous before I sing. I never have. I just don't. It's such a natural feeling for me. I get more nervous just going out in public than I do singing in front of however many people, honestly. So, from when I played out the first time and like on, I never really put myself out there much though, because, I was in a private school and it just wasn't a good experience. I didn't have any good, feedback on my music for sure. That's all I'm going to say on that. But it just was not a good experience. I didn't post anything, and when I did, it didn't end well. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's fine.
But it's still like that's not uncommon. Like especially for young girls. Like there's already a ton of pressure by society to fit an image or size or all these different things, and then for somebody to tell you that your music's not good either. Or whatever they said, but like, it's just like, I don't understand why, especially teenage girls can be very hateful about so much stuff and boys too. Boys are just as bad, but I work in the school system, so I see it all too. And I try to, stop those moments if I see anything or if I hear that kind of talk around the, lunchroom or whatever. I'm like, hey, we don't talk like that around, it's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't understand it. But so I hate to hear that. And I just think about, at least, you've overcome.
Oh, yeah.
We're here today, but there's others that they let that get to them. And they're like, they put they don't share their gift with people because of that, because of other people, what they said and stuff. So I'm thankful that you got to the point where you were able to share with us today. So
I've always said in regards to any situation where I've been like bullied or whatever, because it happens to everybody, honestly. And I went to a small Catholic school. I was with the same people for my whole first 10 years of my life. So I've always said I'm glad it was me and not someone else, because I knew I could handle it. And someone else might have not been able to.
Right.
So I'm glad it was me, because I I cared then, but I knew I wouldn't care at some point. And that just kept me going.
Right.
And now I'm getting to do all this super cool stuff. I met Steve and Matt in January, and we just kind of, I sat in with them, and then I never stopped showing up. I just kind of started bombarding their gigs. And
so you were you continued to write through all this and stuff, even though you weren't necessarily playing out, but you were writing a lot in your bedroom, I guess, or something like that.
Yes. So that song Butterflies, I think it was the first one I did. I wrote that when I was 13.
Yeah.
I was deeply in love at 13, I guess. I don't know. But you've always hated when the skies were gray, so now I will paint them blue for you, for you. Now there's just one question I've been wanting to ask you, but give me a second so I can get the courage to. I get these butterflies when I see your face. They're in my heart and they can't seem to go away. But now here's the question I've been needing to ask you. Do you get those stupid little butterflies in your heart too? You said lately the skies have been blue. You also said it's all because of you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It took so long to get it through my head, and I hid my face 'cause it turned the brightest red. I get these butterflies when I see your face. They're in my heart and they can't seem to go away. But now I know the answer to the question I've been asking you. You get those stupid little butterflies in your heart too. You get those stupid little butterflies in your heart too. Yeah, I've always kept writing. I have 20,000 notebooks full of words and chords and everything you could think of. So, and I never stop all day. That's all that runs through my head.
Yeah. So you said you picked up guitar early, and then the songwriting come along. So you had enough knowledge and know how to like compose what butterflies, or like as far as the guitar chords and everything, you wrote the song all together as a whole?
I wrote the lyrics.
Yeah. The
chords, yes. I kind of just come up with chord progressions that sound good in my head, and I guess they work. I guess they're perfect, to me at least. But I brought my songs to Steve and Matt because we practice usually like once a week. We try to get together and practice, new songs to do when we play out, or now obviously we've been doing originals, and they just kind of take them and spruce them up and give them some more life.
There's some pros. They know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that very cool. I'm glad that that you linked up with these guys and
Yeah,
they're
me too.
helping kind of guide you along a little bit. So this is all like a new friendship. You said January, but how did you all end up coming in contact together?
We have a mutual friend, Jason Slade, who I've known for a long time. And he sent me a message back in January and said that Vannah was really looking to sing with somebody and asked if we could let her come up and sing. Sure, absolutely. I think it's funny. She brought her laptop with like all the songs she knew.
So it started on one of your duo gigs?
Yeah. At Maggie O'Brien's.
Yeah.
And I was going through like all the songs she knew. And I'm like, well, we know that one. Oh, we'll be fine. And she's like, I'm really nervous. I'm like, you don't get to be nervous. I was like,
That
I
was
just
the
met
one
you too.
time I've
Like,
ever
I don't
been
know what's going to
nervous.
happen here. She goes, you're right. I'm not nervous. So, yeah. I mean, she did great. And it was like, you're welcome to come anytime you want. And yeah, it's been going from there. And then all of a sudden now we're playing at the Lincoln Theater. And it's like, we should probably write originals. And yeah.
So what, like, were you having to learn a little bit more Taylor Swift songs or different?
yeah.
I can't imagine
Yeah,
you
it was
guys
the first
playing a
time
lot of
I ever
those.
played one.
Yeah.
So
Now we've got 2 Swifties on our hands.
Hey, I love it. It's like, I'll learn anything. It just makes me a better guitar player.
That's when I was, started listening to what you guys were doing. I was just like, the very different, I think, than what you guys normally would put together as your set list. So, but
We're still throwing some of that in too.
Sure.
She's been kind of learning some of that stuff.
yeah, but I
Yes.
just, I just think it's cool, like that you guys are, it doesn't take you very long to learn these songs. Obviously, picking up on them and, learning them on the fly, even probably, kind of learning quickly.
Right.
So,
And lately, me and Matt have been challenging ourselves to learn songs that like you wouldn't expect you could try to pull off with 2 acoustic guitars. Like what's the one we just did, My Life?
yeah, my life by
Oh,
Billy
I
Joel.
love when Matt sings that
That's
song.
a pretty intense song to play on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
But yeah, different things like that. We just learned the Crash Test Dummy song.
it's called.
oh yeah.
We actually, I wanted to do it as a joke because I just thought it'd be funny. You don't hear people do it. And then when we sat down to learn it, it's actually not very easy to play. And now it's kind of like a challenge.
It's also incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
The lyrics in that song
Yeah.
are rough, man.
You got to make sure you stick
Yeah.
that in the right spot of the show.
Yeah. It's like
Surrounded by happiness.
it's one of my favorite things to pick up on pop music that when you realize like they put a poppy twist on a lot of these songs, but if you look at the lyrics, there's so many of them are coded in like very dark,
Right.
That's why I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, like most of them are just really sad, like, but they sing them in a positive way. And like, I mean, that one's not as a great example of that, but it's also like,
It's bizarre.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre tune.
And that's
like,
the 90s. There was a
Yeah.
lot of bizarre songs in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but why is this a hit? I don't know. Who knows? But it's fun to sing. So
yeah, but the way that whenever we're learning those songs like that, the way my brain works, I tune all of the lyrics out.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking chord to chord,
Right.
and
that
meanwhile I'm thinking, man, it's a good thing I went to grad school for this. Otherwise it'd just take me like 3 times as long.
So you spent all that money so you could learn the Crash Test Dummies.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So thanks, Dave Black.
yeah.
Shout out to Dave.
I do listen to a ton of 90s on 9 in the car, and that's one of my favorites to sing along to, just because like that is a funny voice to me. That once there was this girl.
I was actually, it's kind of funny that you said it. I was watching an interview after we were learning that. I was watching an interview on him, and he was saying that was just his voice.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to sing. And like you were talking, man, about people making fun of your music or whatever. People, he said, made fun of him for that.
Right.
And he just thought that, well, I guess I can't pursue this because I just don't have this great voice. And then
Right.
he said he heard somebody else singing that way and was like, whoa, like that is a thing that people do. And that gave him the confidence to like start singing like that, which is pretty cool.
It made it work for him for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
He made a couple dollars.
Yeah. You mentioned we got a big show coming up, and you will be taking the stage at the Lincoln Theater in Belleville, Illinois, with Crystal Gayle.
Yep.
which is super exciting.
I know.
And this is I haven't been personally, but I've seen some video and pictures of Lincoln Theater, and it's a beautiful space. And,
It is. Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the history of that room or anything, but it looked like they've recently done a lot of work to remodeling and stuff, and got it back in. So it was a really nice. But what's that like? Getting the call that you're going to open up for Crystal Gayle?
Well, it's actually, so my brother's drum teacher, Garrett, he told my mom, oh, we have some country acts coming to the Lincoln and we need openers. Like, can I send? That's how it went, right? Like, he asked if he could send some videos to, it's her management. And they listened. Originally, I was supposed to do 20 minutes, or whoever was going to be opening was going to do 20 minutes. Well, she listened to them herself, and I get to do 40 now.
Nice.
And so that's really, really cool. Garrett told me that. I was dropping my brother off at his drum lesson, and I went in to like thank him for giving me this, or like helping me get this opportunity. And he told me that he got a call, and he was like, normally that's not good. So I was scared, and then he explained that to me, and I was like, oh my God.
Very cool. And you said like that kind of put things in motion for wanting to really hone in on these originals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a text message from him, and just I've been doing this a long time, and the way the text message was worded, I called her and I was like, I think this is being billed as you. Like, I think, and she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, just the wording of the text just sounds like you are going to be the person opening. And it was a few hours later, they had thrown it up on the website, and it was Crystal Gayle with special guest Vannah Leigh. And I call her back and I go, told you so, we better start writing originals because we can't get up there and do a bunch of covers for 40 minutes. So that's
And then
kind of
I
what
was
spurred
like,
it.
I have originals.
All right.
It's a good thing too, because I know for sure I don't. And
Right.
Let me get one of these 20,000 notebooks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what's been so much fun, because she's just been bringing them over, and
Yeah.
like she said earlier, here's what I kind of have. And
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you guys. I'm not a musician, so I've never been there, but I just I feel like that's got to be one of the coolest moments to, find somebody with a catalog of songs already that's like, hey, let's try this, and like figure out how to arrange these songs and build them up, and especially taking into a studio to where you guys can have unlimited toys to play with,
Right.
like to add some keys, add some horns, whatever, all the different, possibilities are endless, it's like,
well, when we go to the studio, I don't see that as unlimited toys to play with. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, don't touch anything
Yeah,
other
right,
than what
yeah.
I'm supposed to.
yeah, sure.
We actually, we were playing at what's that place called? When Frank was there.
Oh,
The barbecue saloon.
yeah.
The barbecue saloon.
in Central West End.
We were playing there. It was a private event in quotes.
Semi-private.
Semi-private. And he's your cousin, right? Mm-hmm. Steve's cousin, Frank Bauer, was there, and he
legend.
was playing the saxophone. And I was, singing one of my original songs. And he came in on the saxophone, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. And he goes, we were like, oh, we're recording tomorrow. We were just kind of talking about, he said, I can be there tomorrow. And I was like, yes, you will. And so he's actually on 2 of my songs. And I think that's the coolest thing ever.
That's so cool.
Makes it just 10 times more beautiful.
Add to that, the cool thing about that whole thing is the next morning he texted me like 7 a.m. He's like, can you talk? And I was like, what's that?
This was the morning after the studio
Morning after the
session.
studio, yeah. And he was just like, he goes, I was just floored by how prepared you guys were in that studio. He goes, the more I watched you guys just go in there and you knew exactly what you wanted and how to get there. Frank's been in the studio a ton of
Right.
times
Yeah,
for
no
him to call
stranger
me and
for
tell
him.
me that. I was
Right.
like, well, thank you, because we've been working really hard
Yeah.
for like the last month to get, time is money. We didn't want to get in there and waste Paul's time. Shout
Yeah.
out to Paul Niehaus, Blue
Yeah,
Lotus.
you guys
Yes.
recording at Blue Lotus. Yeah, Paul's a great friend of the show.
He's great to work
Yeah,
with.
he's had me in the studio several times for some of the projects he's part of, and
He makes things very, very
He's
easy.
so kind, too.
yeah, very cool.
And so understanding.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of was I'm very picky about what I like, what I want. I'll say what I want. And he understood everything I was saying. He made it happen. And I'm very grateful for that.
Nice. Yeah. Well, if you are looking to record, hit up Paul Niehaus at Blue Lotus.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about another one of your originals that may be appearing on one of this upcoming record and everything. But we did a song called 100 Million Reasons, right?
Yep.
And is this one that might make that? Or
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
We just actually recorded that yesterday.
Yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That feels like so long ago.
It was just last
It
night.
was last night.
Let's talk about this tune. Is there any
day in between?
is there anything in particular writing these lyrics or recording or anything that comes to mind when you think about this particular track?
I just kind of was sitting there and I was just like, I just kind of had some ideas.
Yeah.
I'm very inspired by Taylor Swift. Like very inspired. It's not even like, oh, I'm just a crazy fan. I've always looked up to her and just how she doesn't care what people say. She just does what she wants. And I love her breakup songs. I love her love songs. They're beautiful to me. And I wanted to write, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you, do you draw from, you said something about the butterflies being like in love at 13 and but like, do you feel like you draw from personal place for this song, or is this or is more of a fictional story that you how do you feel about that? Like, do these just kind of come to you, these lyrics?
Yeah, it just kind of came to me.
I think this song's kind of it's got an intense feeling to me.
So I tell you honestly, like when the first time you play, I just heard it just a couple minutes ago when we played, and for me, like I was surprised, I think, to hear like this coming from you, like not that I don't know what to expect, but just like very mature lyrics, and like I feel like this could be a wedding song or something like.
Thank you.
This could be somebody's first dance or, something like that. And especially as you talked about, possibly played it on keys before, piano and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I imagine something like that, like a piano arrangement, and somebody. I don't know. That's where my mind starts going.
Yeah.
That's actually how she brought it to us when she said that she had another idea for a song, and she said, "Well, I don't know how it's going to transfer over to guitar."
All right, watch this.
Steve and I were just like, really?
Yeah.
She's like,
I said, start playing it. And then she did her thing, and I was like, here's what I'm hearing. And she goes, that's it. That's exactly what I want.
All right.
Cool. Then that's what we'll do.
I was walking the other day, the snow fell in my face, and oh my God, it was so cold. I found you at the right time, you turned the snow into sunshine, and oh my God, I'm falling for you. You asked me the little things, what your sign and when's your birthday, and I was holding on to hope, hoping you'd be mine and everything will be fine. And shortly my dreams came true. Every little thing you do makes me fall in love with you more and more every single day. Ever since I met you, the skies have been so blue. I see every color now instead of gray. You changed the way I look at life. I swear to God, you can read my mind, 'cause you always know exactly what to say. So thank you for giving me 100 million reasons to stay. You send me pictures of the sky, you're the brightest star in the night. You light up a room like the sun. I love you with all my heart, I'll never break you apart, and I'll probably write you a million songs song's about how we met or how you never let me forget how pretty you think I looked that day. You've been hurt and disregarded. I'll build you up, I'll try my hardest. I'll show you love that you never felt. Every little thing you do makes me fall in love with you more and more every single day. Ever since I met you, the skies have been so blue. I see every color now instead of gray. You changed the way I look at life. I swear to God, you can read my mind, 'cause you always know exactly what to say. So thank you for giving me 100 million reasons to stay. So thank you for giving me 100 million reasons to stay.
I'm really enjoyed this song a lot, and hopefully we'll have a nice studio recording coming soon that people can add to their favorite playlist and share around and everything else. But you can find all the upcoming info on your Vannah Leigh music on Facebook and Instagram if you want to get plugged in socially and tell her what you think of these songs. And again,
I love feedback.
Yeah.
Love it.
And if you and hopefully we'll see it at the Lincoln Theater
Yep.
that evening also. So grab your tickets to come see Vannah Leigh and the guys live. And
And where do people find those tickets?
They're on Lincoln Theater Live on Facebook. I also have it shared probably 400 times on my Facebook, so you can find it on there too.
And I'll hyperlink everything in the description of this show, so
Cool.
I'll make it all real easy for you. So, but yeah, let's talk about one more. This is Annie Marie.
Yes.
And this, you were saying, written for a friend of yours, right?
Yeah, my best friend.
Nice. Shout out, Annie.
Yeah, shout out to Annie Marie. I met her last year, and I don't know, she's just my type of person. We're like soulmates, but a best friend way.
Yeah.
Like we think we're both very mature in our thoughts and our feelings.
I believe in like kindred spirits as friends. Like
Yeah.
I've met people like you feel like they've been there. They should have been there your whole life, even though you just met them. Like you're like we're best friends now. It's like
Yeah, and I mean every word I wrote in that song was so true. Like everything. She's beautiful inside and out, and I love her. And she was just dealing with a lot of stuff, like, end of the school year stress and some other personal things that I'm not going to share. But, she just really needed someone to tell her those things. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do it on this lovely, whatever night it was, probably a Tuesday or something. And I just, wrote that real quick.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. It sounds like you're a great friend, and that's I believe in all that stuff too. I tell my friends I love them all the time. Like,
yeah,
I want people to know what they mean to me while they're here, instead of thinking about it when they're not. So
yeah, I agree. My love, I know that when you're looking in the mirror, you don't like what you see. So I'll paint a picture to help you see better how beautiful you are to me. I'll grab a canvas and a brush. I'll use my brightest colors to represent the love that you bring. Just walking in, it's like a rainbow always shining through your skin. like a rainbow always shining through your skin. Your blue eyes shimmer brighter than the Atlantic Sea, but your heart is warmer than the sun. And I truly admire the way you aspire to see the good in everyone. You're like a sunset that doesn't rush, and for you it shines so brightly to represent the love that you bring. Just walking in, it's like a rainbow always shining through your skin. It's like a rainbow always shining through your skin. Honey, I know sometimes your world is dark and gray, but you will be okay. All your rain clouds will float away. I'll be your rainbow leading you to better days. You're like the stars that shine above, how they shimmer so excitedly to represent the love that you bring. Just walking in, it's like a rainbow always shining through your skin. It's like a rainbow always shining through your skin. It's like a rainbow always shining through your skin.
But yeah, this is another great song, and this is this a newer one? You act like
Yeah.
it might be pretty recent.
Yeah, I wrote this probably. I showed you two
So
like
it's
a couple
song
days
number
after.
3, I think, that we got done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the third one that we.
I wrote it probably 2 months ago.
Right?
Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know, like it's fun for me like to think about like, just sometimes some of these songs like take a while, some of them just kind of come very quick and organic, and just like all of a sudden it's all the pieces are there, and it's like but I just find it cool that people are very prolific that way, and whether writing song after song, and some people it takes them a year or more or whatever to kind of come up with a new song, and whatever it might be. But what's that?
The band Tool.
Oh,
Takes
yeah.
them like 10 years to come up with
right.
a record, and you listen to it, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah. It's-
I write very, very fast. Butterflies, that probably took me 20 minutes to write. And then all the rest, same. It all comes to me very quickly. I write it all down super fast. I mess around with the words if they don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually just come up with a chord progression that follows my words, because my words, I want to mean everything I'm saying. And I want to get my point across with whatever the song's about.
So do you write more like if you feel like just like kind of free flow, like you write the words out, and then you said you composed it to the yeah. Right. Yeah, I wrote a little bit like high school stuff, and kind of I wrote some poetry a little bit and stuff. I wrote more creatively with like school paper and stuff like that. And I wrote like this show even started with writing album reviews type of things.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I kind of realized I'm not a great writer. I'd rather let the music speak for itself. So that's kind of where it transitioned into the audio format, where I'd rather, instead of me saying, hey, you should check out these tracks, I'll just show you these tracks. And so
That's cool.
yeah. So, but I just admire songwriters. It's something I've been drawn to. I've definitely been more of a lyric guy. That's always, it's something I really connect to, and storytelling to go with it all. And, it's just something that really speaks to me. So, so I'm glad that you found a natural knack to do this. Like that, I don't know, just especially at a young age, I feel like sometimes people have to live a little life to have something to write about. And
I've lived a long 17 years.
that's what I'm saying. Like you're already 17, you're already writing all these songs already, so it's very impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm really excited to hear what what continues to come from all this, and especially as you start working with these guys and what songs, what's up, what's next on this record and everything else that you guys are working on. So
It's been I'm not a good songwriter, but getting it off the ground, I'm terrible at. But if you come at me with something, I usually have, I feel like, pretty decent ideas of, hey,
You guys
instead of
have great
this,
ideas.
do this and change this chord to this chord or whatever. So that's been fun for me. Like I said, I'd just coming over and just being like, here's the song or an idea I have. And, let's tweak this and move this here and move that there. And then all of a sudden we're like, that's a great song.
Yeah.
So that's been fun for me.
I know we did only one vocal in these performances, but do you guys talked about doing any harmonies or any of that kind of stuff come up yet?
It's, in my world, this has all happened so fast.
Right.
like once we figured out we were doing the Crystal Gayle thing and started writing the original, that's pretty much all I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
Is just trying to figure out how that's all going to work and the studio and all that. So who knows?
I just feel like that could be, to be another cool layer to add to it.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely. Maybe add other instruments.
Right.
Choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dance moves.
Get the ZZ Top guitars going. And that's one.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of the best guitar tricks when they they're attached to the belt and they spin them and it just looks cool. Man, that's such a great trick.
Yeah, this was all just spare the moment thing.
Yeah.
So,
Everything's
who knows?
moving very, very, very fast. Very fast for me.
In a good
'Cause
way.
Right.
In the best possible way. I mean, I never thought, like, looking back to a year ago, I would never see myself doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to do
I was
music.
gonna say, you wanted to do it.
I
but-
wanted to do it, but I just, I held myself back. I wasn't shy, but I don't know. I was just scared.
So you said you guys met in January and you came out to the gig and everything, but what was like that first step to get to that point before the gig and stuff? Like what was, where did that change happen? You think like that, where you're like, okay, I'm not scared anymore. I want to like
You
actually
were pretty
pursue-
scared that first night.
That's okay. That's the funniest part. I really believe I got the message from Jason about, sitting in with
Right.
them for a couple songs. And it was January, like beginning of January. I don't know if it was exactly January 1st. I think it was.
It was probably a couple weeks in, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty soon into January. And I remember I was like, I'm going to be a new version of myself this year. I was like,
New Year, New Me.
New year, new me, and I'm going to mean it. And I almost said no, which is the craziest part. Like in my head, I was like, oh, I'm nervous. Like I haven't sang in a while. Obviously, not anything against them, but it was just a me thing. I was a little scared. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Right.
And now here we are. So I'm really, really, really grateful I said yes.
So put it out there and the universe delivered, huh?
Yep.
That's cool. That's
That was kind of my attitude when
Yeah.
Brian Kern asked me in 2004 to come
Right.
down and sit in with him. I was like, if I fall on my face, I never have to show myself at the Oyster Bar again. Nobody won't remember it a year from now. And then that turned into shoot. I still play there every Saturday.
Yeah, well, shout out to Broadway Oyster Bar, which you were just on the stage the other night, right?
Yeah, she sat in with
Yeah.
the all roostered up for a little
All
bit.
roostered up.
How cool is that? That's one of my absolute favorite places, and
Me too.
it's always a good time, especially at a roostered up show. I went
That's
to
where I met you, right?
probably.
That's where Shane met a lot of
I mean,
people.
I was the door guy there for about 5 years, so I met all sorts
Yeah,
of people.
okay. Yep, that's how we met.
But
Whether you wanted to or not.
all right. I got to hosted a birthday party there for the podcast in
It's an anniversary, right?
it was 16. It was the second birthday show I did over there with this particular story. And my friends, Brother Lee and the Leather Jackals played the show, and they have a song called Boredom Leads to the Bottle. And it's like this big like sing along hook, and they invited me up to sing along with them and do like group gang vocals on it. And like so that was my first time performing on the stage kind of thing, So I was like, but it was a very cool moment, and I'm grateful that I had friends that pulled me up out of this, like getting me up, hey, come out here and play. And so like, and I don't, that's not even what I do, but like I was grateful for the opportunity, and I got to, stand on the stage, one of my favorite venues, and
A memory you'll never forget.
Yeah, for sure. I have pictures to prove it. So if anyone wants to fact check me. But also the second part of that story is I did another birthday show in 19, and I had Amanda Fish, Tony Campanella, and Odds Lane played my birthday show, and which was already a ton of fun. But Ali Venable played at Old Rock House that night across the street, and we hit her up and we're like, hey, when you're done with your gig, come party with us. We're going late. And she crashed the party, and she showed up, and I don't know if you know much about her, but
I have a shirt of hers.
Of hers, yeah?
Yeah, Jason Slade. He's the one who connected all of us. I guess he went to watch her or something, and he got me a shirt, and I believe her record, right? Did he give me those at the same time, or was it two separate people? I can't remember.
She jumped up on stage and shredded with Tony, and it was like, I'm like, I don't know how I made this happen for my birthday party, but this is awesome. This is amazing. One of the highlights of my life, and it was an incredible evening. And I was like, I'm so glad I've become friends with so many talented people that getting to do cool stuff like this. So that was a really fun night. So, and all thanks to the Broadway Oyster Bar. Yeah. So
yeah, that's the first time I played with Steve was at the Oyster Bar too.
Yeah. Was that an all roostered up too, or that was a solo?
That was me doing solo. Gig.
Yeah,
that was solo. Yeah, I had just gotten done with. I put on a concert for my undergraduate degree at Webster, and I invited Steve to it because we worked at. Well, I taught at the music store that he worked at, and actually we both work there now. Shout out to Music Go Round.
Yeah.
So I invited him to the show, and afterwards he approached me and said, "Holy shit. I knew you could play, but I didn't know you could play like that. Come sit in with me anytime you want." And so I took him up on it, and
never looked back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That started the routine of Tuesday nights hanging out till they close at 3, and then usually going and staying up till about 5.
All right. Like you do.
At least I would. I was, in college at the time. I had my own apartment, and I would just sit outside and drink whiskey until the sun came up, and then I was like, I should probably go to bed before all these other people start going to work.
Yeah. I used to work. I worked my day job, and then I would go and work overnight at this gas station, and then so I was always up late anyway. But then even on my nights when I didn't work at the gas station, I still stayed up until like 6 a.m. And like, and that was like always my cue to go to bed was I would like lay down and I would start watching Saved by the Bell reruns, and I'm like, I should probably go to bed now. So
it's time to call it a night.
It's coming to this.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, it was always on TBS at 9 that 6 o'clock in the morning. So
I forgot about TBS.
Yeah. Well, Vannah, you mentioned early on again playing guitar, and I just recently saw online a gift you were given.
Yes.
A really special guitar, and I thought it'd be maybe fun to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, the artist that painted it, her name's Is it Vesna? That's how you say it, right? I feel like I always say it wrong. Vesna. She has a gallery in Chesterfield at the old mall, and her work is just beautiful. I saw this painting that she did when I walked in. It was like sunset and flowers, totally my vibe. And I was like, I need that in my house when I'm older. But then I walked back. It was a surprise from Jason. He commissioned her to paint it for me and just kind of told her I like colors and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns and whatever. And she took it and just kind of created that. And it was beautiful. It reminds me of like a magical forest or something. And I think it's so cool.
Yeah, very unique. I don't know that I've ever really seen anything quite like that. And it's very pretty.
And the guitar is amazing sounding too. I got to play it. They played at Maggie O'Brien's one night, and I was obviously there bombarding their gig. I took over the whole thing. Oops. But no, they let me play my guitar a little bit towards the end. And I played Fearless by Taylor Swift. I love that song. And it just sounded beautiful. I was listening back to the video, and the guitar is just so good sounding. It doesn't ring. It doesn't do anything wrong. I love it.
It's a Martin, right?
That's because it's a Martin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to
I don't know what that means.
CF Martin.
That's the brand of the guitar.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's good.
Is that like the fancy ones that I don't like to touch?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of them.
Well, shout out to Jason. He sounds like a great friend to have if he's hooking you up with these guys and Martin guitars. And
We call him Uncle Jason now.
Well, you do.
Yeah,
Me and Steve don't.
We do.
I am now. I am.
That would be a little weird.
He's used to it.
I'm coming over, Uncle Jason.
I met Jason through my cousin Frank.
Nice.
He used to hang around with Alvin Jet and Fat Noise, so I've known Jason for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's cool to have again. I feel like it's kind of been the theme of this, but it's fun to have those friends in your life that believe in you and want the best for you and putting you in great situations to shine and achieve greatness. So that's can't go wrong with that. It's good to have those people in your life like that. So
It's definitely cool for me because I didn't have obviously I had my family. My family has always supported me. No matter whatever I wanted to do, I have them to back me up on it. So now it's always been my music, and even though not everybody believed in me and not everybody liked what I was doing or whatever it may have been, they've always been there. Like my mom, my grandma, my dad, everybody. So it's cool to have a new perspective that not everybody's like that, and that other people have belief in me, like especially Steve and Matt and Jason and everyone, I guess, that Tony Campanella. That was an honor.
yeah, that dude rules.
I got to sing with him one time at Parkside Grill. And I obviously had heard of him. Obviously, I've heard of him. But I didn't know to what extent, he's known. I didn't know how known he was. And so I was just
Joe
kind of...
Meyer was on drums, right?
Yeah, and Joe Meyer was on the drums. And I got to... I just... I was going about it, singing my heart out, having fun. And then, Jason sends me a picture, says, "No pressure." And it's Tony on, the Blues Billboard thing. And I was like, oh, my God. And it was cool because Tony was so supportive and he told me I was great. And it was great to hear that from someone who is so well known. It made me feel like, okay, I've got it.
It should be noted that Joe Meyer's no slouch either.
Right.
Oh,
I was going to say, you want me?
No.
I could send you a video of Joe Meyer on Good Morning America if you'd like, playing drums.
Yeah.
And he came into music around a couple days after that, and we were talking to him about the fact that you got to sit, and he just goes, "She's good, man."
Yeah.
And that's
He was very nice
pretty
too.
solid Joe
And
impression there.
Nick. Is it
Yeah.
Calico? Nick
Calico.
Calico.
Yeah,
I've always said his name wrong, I guess. Oops.
I think that's right. I mean, I might have said it wrong.
But
Pretty sure that's right. Though.
he got me connected and he reached out. I think Jason connected me to him saying, "Oh, you can sit in, whatever." And it was cool. It was just cool to meet all those people because I didn't know, I'm not very involved in the live music world. I wasn't before because I'm I'm 17. Like, I don't know.
Say.
I'm
You're not hanging out at all the bars.
Yeah, I don't hang out at all the bars. The only ones are where they are at. So, I don't know. It was cool to like realize who I was around afterwards, and I'm glad I didn't know before, because I would have probably been really nervous.
I think that's like, I know who these people are, obviously.
Yeah,
it's like
I knew who they were.
But it's like, but at the same time, I don't treat them any differently. I treat them like these are my friends. It's like, yes, they are rock stars, but I treat them just like any other person. And I think that's they wouldn't want you to like, whatever, fanning out over them and stuff. I don't think
if it was Taylor Swift, I might do that.
Right.
But
these
that's different.
I just think that's I feel like the only reason I've ever been in some of these rooms that I have been in is because I treat them like just people, like these are just one of the guys kind of thing. So that's like, I feel like that's a key to it all. Like, but that's, I don't know, maybe not, but it is.
That's even how I felt with them too, because I've heard about them before. Like, I heard about you guys a long time ago, honestly, just from like Mimi, my grandma. She's always was telling me about like bands, and she brought you guys up, and I don't know. So it was still like a big shock to me that I was getting to sing with them.
Mimi didn't say anything about me though.
Huh?
I said Mimi didn't say anything about me though.
No.
Right. Maybe after this. Maybe,
right.
maybe
she will.
Maybe
she will. She's an avid Facebook poster.
Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Mimi. I love you.
I'm just teasing.
But now I'm around them so much. We're like this. We're best friends.
For sure.
But I still had the same like nerves with them as I did with anybody else. But I definitely keep it on the low.
Yeah.
I thought you just said you didn't get nervous.
You just.
I do a little bit. Not when I'm singing. That's different. Once I am like up there in that zone, I'm like, all right, here we go.
Here we go.
Not before either, though.
Well, you mentioned Maggie O'Brien's and some of the bar gigs and playing these cover songs for the crowd. And we did do a cover song today. And you mentioned being a bit of a super fan. And we did a song by somebody you may have heard of named Taylor Swift. And this song is called Our Song. And I thought it was fun that you kind of went old school a little bit, for Taylor catalog. This is early days of her career. Yeah. And this is a fun one I've been singing along to for many years now. Yeah. And it's a great tune. And I think it allowed you to shine vocally. It's got a lot of personality to it. It's a little more upbeat, and you get to kind of show that side of your personality, I think. And so hopefully people enjoy your take on this song. And this is Our Song.
I was riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. He's got a one-hand bill on the steering wheel, the other on my heart. I look around, turn the radio down. He says, baby, is something wrong? I say nothing, I was just thinking how we don't have a song. And he says, our song is the slam screen door, sneaking out late, tapping on your window. Well, we're on the phone and you talk real slow, 'cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way you laugh, the first statement I didn't kiss him and I should have. And when I got home, before I said amen, asking God if he could play it again. I was walking up the front porch steps after everything that day had gone all wrong. I've been trampled on and lost and thrown away. Got to the hallway, well on my way to my loving bed. I almost didn't notice all the roses and a note that says, our song is the slam screen door, sneaking out late, tapping on your window. When we're on the phone and you talk real slow, 'cause it's late and your mama don't know. Our song is the way song. 'Cause our song is a slamming screen door, sneaking out late, tapping on his window when we're on the phone and he talks real slow. 'Cause it's late and his mama don't know. Our song is the way he laughs. The first statement, I didn't kiss him and I should have. And when I got home, for I said amen, asking God if he could play it again. Play it again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. I grabbed a pen and an old napkin and I wrote down our song.
Anything more to it than just being a Taylor fan, or do you resonate more to this one and than other ones? Or I know you said doing Fearless also.
I
live, but-
really, her album, her debut album, it's self-titled. It's just called Taylor Swift, I guess,
Right.
but everybody calls it debut. I just love it because she was young. I can't remember. Was she like 15, 14, 13? That range when she released it
Right.
and did all that. And that's crazy. I know I'm 17. I'm not 15 and 13 and 14 anymore, but I'm still young. And so it's cool that I'm getting to do that. And I'm very inspired. Like, it's just a very positive, like that whole album. It's just all like, you know, teenagers, like happy teenager stuff. And I want to get to do that. And, you know, later on in her career, she gets more in depth and she gets more emotional and more real, like brutally honest, I guess, in her lyrics. And that's kind of what I want to do, not to copy her or anything. My whole thing is I want to inspire young girls like she did for me.
Sure.
And I see my little sister, she's 5 years old, and I see some of like the people that are going to be her influencers and her pop stars, and I'm very disappointed because there's just some really bad influences, and like kids are growing up so fast. And like I even see that with my little sister. She's 5 years old, and like I don't know. I'm having like a big sister crisis, I guess, but I want like little girls and just little kids in general to know that like you can be positive, you can just be a kid.
Right.
That's the whole point of this like EP album situation I'm doing. Like it's all just kind of, you know, positive about my family, about my friends, little love songs, butterflies, rainbows, all those things.
Yeah.
I just like I want to be that for young kids. That's my goal.
Nice. Very cool. Well said.
Thank you.
I think I agree. I think you know, I think we all could use a little more positive and a little more, you know, influences like that. Like I said, these people to look up to. It is rough. You know, it's tough to see the way some of it's, you know, in our media and social media and everything else. Like there's a lot of not so great stuff out there. But I think it is what you make it. I mean, I feel like I do, again, kind of going back to some of what we started with, but I feel like it is kind of tough when you see so many of that and like people you want, you know, like what young girls especially like try to do to fit into us, you know, this what is society tells them to do kind of thing, or what they feel like, you know, they need to be, you know, and it's just it's not right stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you will be that example for her and for other young girls coming up. And I just feel like that's the best thing about me. When I go out to concerts and I see, you know, parents bring young ones and like, you know, in appropriate shows, when the time's right. But like I was at a JJ Grey show one night. I remember this comes to mind because like, it was a young kid on dad's shoulders and I think they may have met, backstage or something before, you know, meet and greet type of thing, but still made a point to address this little kid and reached out and gave him a pick and stuff. And it was just like such a cool moment. And I'm thinking about like what the ripple effect that moment could have on this kid's life. Like, continuing to, if they were interested in music, wanted to pursue it and be like, yeah, this time that I met JJ Gray and all this stuff, like these things like that, like I think it's just one moment of positivity or being nice to somebody along that was having a bad day or whatever, just putting that positivity out there and what it can change somebody's life even. So I really believe in all that. So I think it's cool what you're doing. So
thank you.
So keep it up.
It's been fun watching her get more confident. And I can't wait for you to see things like that. Like, understand what music can do, like what he's saying about helping other people in that, like I've been doing it for a long time and I could tell you a million stories of cool stuff that has happened and, friendships that were made and
right.
So,
well, I mean, I think we covered a lot of it already, even just talking about our friends and talking about Oyster Bar and what it means. Right. Like, music's the reason we're all together.
Yeah.
It's the reason we've all in this room together. We even, we've met because of it. And so it's, I agree. There's, music's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we'll sitting there playing a show and you look out and you're like, well, that person is talking to that person because both of them came here to see this.
Right.
Otherwise, they would never know each other. But
I think it was
like
super
friends,
I think this is the coolest thing ever. When we were playing at Maggie O'Brien's the other night, my friend Annie Marie herself, she brought her grandma. And my grandma, my Mimi, was there. Her grandma and my Mimi knew each other, and they like hugged each other and ran up to each other like they are bestest of best friends, and they haven't seen each other in forever. And I just thought it was so cool that like I brought them together again,
So
and they got to reconnect.
And they didn't know that you guys were friends?
No.
And that they knew each other?
No.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's cool.
And I thought that was super cool. Just like everything's connected.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the world is smaller than we think it is. Like it's, there's a lot of people out there, but we are all connected. So.
We were just talking about that earlier, me and my mom.
Well, speaking of mom, let's play one more. You played this one and dedicated to her, and it's called Mother's Day. And I don't know. It was this is personal to me. I lost my mother in 2019, and she was my best friend. So seeing you two together and seeing you sing the song about what she means to you, like, it was very, very cool. And I think about that a lot, like in my own story, that I would love to do something like that, to write, what my mom means to me and make it a song format. Like music was a big part of our lives.
Yeah.
Which is, we went, she took me to my first concert. We go to a lot of shows together, and especially, later as she retired and stuff, we started going to all kinds of shows together and Oyster Bar shows and things like, but, so anyway, all that to be said, like, it was really cool to see you highlight and show appreciation for Mom. So, thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Yep.
In the 6th grade, I wrote a song, but I guess I got the words wrong. The girls used it as a tool of mockery. So I went home and tore it to shreds and never wanted to sing it again. I thought they were supposed to be my bestest friends till the end. Went to school the next day, the mockingbirds had so much more to say. So I came home, tears in my eyes, wanted to lay in bed and cry. But to my surprise, I saw the shreds laying on my bed, put perfectly together again. That's when I knew all I need is you. into the water, but you didn't care if I was acting crazy. She made me kind because she raised me, and she is the kindest lady. So for her Mother's Day, she'll last all year. Never had much confidence from the previous events, but she always knows exactly what to say. When I had no one to hang out with, she made time in her day, even though I probably drove her insane the whole way. When we go out, we always match our clothes accidentally. People ask us if we're sisters. She says yes confidently. I roll my eyes, but to be true, it's an honor to look like you. See the world how you do. When I saw the shreds laying on my bed, put perfectly together again, that's when I knew all I need is you. 'Cause in a way you put me together too. You were there every time I couldn't bear to leave my room, and I know it's hard to watch your daughter sinking down into the water, but you didn't care if I was acting crazy. She made me kind because she raised me, and she is the kindest lady. So for her Mother's Day, she'll last all year. You were there every time I couldn't bear to leave my room, and I know it's hard to watch your daughter sinking down into the water, but you didn't care if I was acting crazy. She made me kind because she raised me, and she is the kindest lady. So for her Mother's Day, she'll last all year.
Is this one that is going to be on that recording too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's got a cool story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this one, I was going out of town. We have a lake house, and my mom was like, I was having really bad writer's block, and I was like trying to push out songs, and I was kind of, writing a little bit, but it was all just like, it didn't mean anything.
Because we were trying to get stuff for the album.
Yes, yes. So we could be prepared for Crystal Gayle, And my mom was like, you just need to change of scenery. You just need to change of scenery. And I was kind of like, all right. And I went.
Well, I had to ask you if you were going to play with us that weekend.
Yeah.
And you said your mom was making you go to the lake because she thought your writer's block was getting in the way. And if you went to the lake, maybe something would happen and you'd.
And something did happen. This song was created. I went out. I literally got there, and I think I was there for an hour. And I went on the back porch, and I started writing it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I explained the first little part of lyrics to my mom, but she didn't know what it was about to go into about her, And she was like, "Oh, you should say something about mockingbirds and like them mocking you, because that did happen. That did happen." And I was like, okay, so I like to say that she co-wrote it with me.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just...
She gets what, like 90% of the royalties on that one?
No.
I'm taking 100 for
Yeah.
It's true.
Me and Matt's side of things, we were playing Saturday night and we took a break and I grabbed my phone and I had a text message from her saying song number 5 done. And I was like, whoa, so the lake really did happen and it really helped. And she's like, I don't think we're gonna have to do anything to this one. And we didn't. Like she brought it over and played it and it was like, yeah, let's
The lake is a magical place.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool
Yeah.
as far as what I saw from it.
How did Mom respond when you first played it?
I think we were like fighting all day actually when I wrote that. It was a whole thing. But we were
You
just
did tell me, you said, Mom was driving me nuts. But instead of writing a song about how she was driving me nuts, I thought I'd write a song about, she is really cool. And
Yeah. Yeah. We do. And then we're like, I'm sorry. And then we talk about it and we fix it.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Quickly, yeah. But I was sitting on the back porch, and her and my dad went on a little boat ride, like a night boat ride. She came back, and I had finished, I think, the whole thing, almost.
it probably would have been because you texted me
it
at
was,
like 9 o'clock or something like that.
Yep, it was the whole thing, and I tried to play it for her, and I was hysterically crying, trying to make it through. And she was like, just go. If you're going to play this out, you got to make it through this time, and you'll be fine. I was like, okay. And I was like, sink it down into the water. It was really emotional because in the chorus, I was like, talking about, you didn't care if I was acting crazy. Cause sometimes like I've been through a lot of like mental health issues. I'm very open about that too. Like eating issues, mental health, all that crazy stuff. And she has done everything to make sure I got the help I needed, even if she didn't understand. Because, like, the whole, eating disorder thing with teenagers, it's such a big thing right now, like, huge. And, when she was younger, that wasn't really a thing. Like, you just went on with your day. And now girls are trying to be this big, and it's just so confusing. Mm-hmm. And I was frustrated, but she tried to understand. And that's the same with my mental health issues and whatever else it may have been. And then there's the one part about when I couldn't leave my room. Like, there's literally been times where I could not leave my room. Like, I was just in such a bad mindset that I didn't want to get out of bed. And she pushed me to get out of bed and pushed me to keep going and pushed me to not, like, just give up. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so everything in that song is
based on a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything in all my songs is based on a true story.
Yeah, I felt it.
Yeah.
You can tell what's real. It's like you can feel it. So
yeah.
Well, very cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I think it seems like you are well on your way to on the right path. You got a great support system around you.
Definitely.
From Mom and Steve and Matt and Jason and everybody else we've talked.
And even my friends now, like I have amazing friends now supporting me, especially Annie Marie.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. Everything's changed so fast for me, and I'm just in such a good place, and I'm grateful for everybody that I've met along the way.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say on that.
Well, I'm super excited to see you continue to do great things, and we're gonna kind of kickstart it all September 2nd in Lincoln Theater.
That's when things get real.
Yeah.
That's when it gets real. Still hasn't hit.
That's gonna be the big kickoff party to all this. So come out and. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some people singing along to some of these originals if they've heard them on here, and you can get plugged in again. Vannah Leigh Music on Facebook and Instagram for more info, and keep an eye out. Debut release sometime soon. We'll get to you some more info when we got it, but
sometime before September.
Yeah.
Sometime before September.
Yeah.
And what's the album called? You just told me today.
Butterflies.
There it is. Nice. Well, I can't wait to hear it. So
thank you.
So thank you for spending some time with us. Big thanks again to Mark for having us out. This is so cool. But thank you all for listening, and I will see you all soon.
Thanks, Shane.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. hanging out today at Il Buco.
It's Il Buco. That's right. On the hill.
With Mark Fernandez. All right. Yeah. We just met, so I'm trying to make sure I pronounce it correct. I wanted to. We just met thanks to my friends here, Steve and Matt and Vannah, and we're down here hanging out in your basement, which is a beautiful space. So thank you for having us over.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still funny to me. Do I call it a basement still, even though we have concerts down here? But
it's much more than a basement. Yeah.
Yeah. So the name, funny, Il Buco came from a naming contest we had. In fact, we did a concert here and we passed out pieces of paper, and somebody simply Googled the word for a cavity because they knew I'm a dentist and I see their kids. So that's how the name got started, and it stuck and it seemed to fit. So
yeah. I don't know. I'm very jealous or envious of what you got going on, because it's definitely a goal of mine, a long-term goal, to have my own space like this, my kind of man cave type of situation, have like a recording studio space for what I do with the podcast, but also I love the idea of house concerts, which is what you're doing down here, and just like having a room that I can, or a space where I can display some of my records and all the other memorabilia I've collected over the years, and so this is like really cool to see what you're doing, and kind of maybe start working some of the, get the gears turning a little bit for what I want to do with my own space someday. But
yeah, it's been great. It came from a dream or a goal that I had to have a space to enjoy music, and more so to have a space that's shared. Yeah, I can call it my space, but it sounds better if I say it's a shared space. Right. To be able to host musicians, host friends who are musicians, and be able to use it to showcase new musicians and to showcase them to people on the Hill, in this community, and in St. Louis. So the goals really are to teach people to support the arts, and to build community here on the Hill at the same time. So it's been a great few years. We've had some great artists that have come by. Some have been on national tours. I have a Grammy-nominated artist that's passed through here a couple of times, and I couldn't be more happy with how it's turned out.
And how long have you been doing this then?
I moved here to the Hill 5 years ago. Ironically, this house was owned by a former musician, if I could say his name on the podcast, Frankie Muriel, with Dr. Vegas. At the time, the basement was a raw space. He had intentions to put in a stage eventually. He said, "So, Frankie, if you're listening, when I moved in, I told him, if I build a space, will you play here?" He said yes, so I'm going to hold him to it.
Yeah. And before that, were you just a music fan?
So yeah, I grew up as a music fan and a hobbyist musician of sorts.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to come to move to the city, and I specifically wanted to find a place that would have enough space available to be able to do this.
Yeah. So how long, when you set the goal to build this space, how long do you think the build out took you?
Yeah, I moved. Well, it's actually closer to 6 years ago, and within about a couple of years, planned it out. It took about 8-10 months to build it out, and finished it just in time for New Year's of 2020. I had my nieces perform to inaugurate the stage and have a concert there. And then we all know what happened shortly after that. So we did have a couple of shows before COVID, but since then we started back up, and it's been going great. We have a upcoming show coming in July 15th. Javier Mendoza will be playing here.
Nice. Yeah, very cool. Is there a way to contact or website or anything like that?
So the only marketing I have is on Facebook. So Il Buco, it's spelled IL space BUCO, and that could be found on Facebook.
Very nice, man. Yeah, I would love to come back and attend someday as a fan and get to sit and enjoy the space. This is very cool, and I'm grateful that you had us over tonight to share this space with you, and we've had a lot of fun already, and so I appreciate you and your your hospitality, sharing us with us. So,
Well, I echo the hospitality that I find here on the hill. It's a great place.
yeah, right. This is just a beautiful backdrop to everything you've created here too. And
Well, something great would be if not only do people know the hill for its food, but maybe someday they'll know it for its music venue.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be. I preach a similar message as you're saying, man. Like I'm trying to lift my community up, doing this show and trying to highlight local music the best I can, and trying to put St. Louis on the map as a music city. I mean, like we've already, we're celebrating a lot of our greats, but there's a lot of people aren't as familiar with around town,
and that's what I wanted. Yeah, that's part of the goal I have too. It's literally me teaching people and reminding people to understand that music doesn't come free,
right?
And to come here and to know that what they're witnessing is people who are sharing their talents that they've invested a lot of time to be able to share with us, and for us to be able to show that appreciation back to them. So at first concert, people were kind of questioning me selling tickets, thinking this was a party and I just had a band here. And I saying, no, it's this is a concert, and I want everybody that comes here to be able to invest and give to the bands. There's not a facility charge here for any of the bands. I want 100% of the proceeds raised to go to them. I don't have a liquor license, so even though we have a bar here, I just ask some people if they want to bring a bottle of wine or something for the bar and make it open to them. Mm-hmm. So it's a great value to come be with friends and hear great musicians. And
my experience, my first like kind of house concert not too long ago, and I fell in love with the whole idea of but I happened to notice like on a bands in town, one of my favorite songwriters was coming to the area and playing in somebody's home, and I didn't recognize the name as the venue or anything, so I'm like looking it up and found out that's this guy's home, and I was like, is this open to public? And he's like, yeah, of course, come in, $20, bring a dish or what, something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I can handle that. And I fell in love with the whole idea, like just a super intimate night with one of my favorite songwriters, sitting in somebody's living room or whatever, and it was just like really a magical night, and like just to connect with music and people in a whole different way compared to a traditional concert venue or anything else like that. So getting to have that, like, especially like set breaks, getting to, talk to them more, with one of your favorite artists or meet somebody new that night and everything else.
I feel like I'm pushing the limits of what you would call an intimate venue. If you were to ask Steve or Matt, who've played here, we can get close to 70 people in the space, sure. But the feeling of intimate as far as spaces go, I still call it that because it's mostly people that know one another, and I wanted it to be a place where the word got out on the hill in this neighborhood. So it still feels intimate. It's a private home, but it kind of on the fringe of being a public venue. So I'm kind of more wanting it to stay as a home with friends and friends of friends.
Yeah.
Sorry about all the dinging with my text coming in, by the way.
Busy man. Well, thank you again for having us over today. Thank you for sharing this space, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about what you have coming up. Again, you got Javier Mendoza on the calendar coming up,
July 15th. Yeah.
So if you're interested, is there like
$20. Come prepared just to put $20 in the bucket.
Do they need like RSVP of any sort or anything like that? Or
this time is the first time I'm not going to have people buy tickets in advance. Okay. Just show up. The first ones that come in. If we get beyond 70, I live stream the show on the TV upstairs, right. And people mingle in and out. So we're going to try a little bit different this time.
Very cool. I might have to make sure I'm free that night then.
I'd love to have you.
That sounds like a ton of fun. So, well, thank you, Mark. And man, hopefully we can hang out again soon.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, buddy.